Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Sorry, just okay. My name is Kevin Yao. I'm a business director of Ragile Lightworks. So if you had a chance to attend the keynote yesterday, you probably heard about all those goals like sustainability, green, other scalability stuff. But all in all, we have to make sure we have a great products to implement those bigger goals. So today I'm going to introduce what Ragile Networks has done for the open networks. So basically, I'm going to touch base on three aspects. One is about liquid cooling. Another one is about NPO, Leo package, and the code package. And lastly, I'm also going to talk about the white box, our white box products with SONiC. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, if you haven't visited Ragile's booth, so we are at C5, right behind the stadium. So you can visit us. We can give you a demo for our products. So this is Ragile in last year OCP. So very left is our booth in last year actually. But this year we double-sized the booth, so we have more products to demo. And in the right side there are customers, from different companies visit our booth last year. We have Broadcom folks visit us as well. So since we are a strategic partner with Broadcom. Also, in last year, we have made contributions to OCP open source platform. So basically, we open sourced one product, which is 64 ports of 100G to the OCP OCP platform. So for this contribution, we open sourced the design files, for example, BOM, schematics, those kind of design files, as well as the product spec as well. So if you go to the OCP website, you can definitely find these products. So from Ragile Networks, we have a lot of investment on new generation technology research. For example, on the very left, it's the 112G prototype. It's very critical for the new generation, like a Tomahawk 5 kind of generation products. So for this prototype, actually, it helps us win the one customer project on the Tomahawk 5 generation. And as I mentioned, we also invest on the NPO, Leo package, and the code package switches. We have a live demo in our booth. Broadcom folks support us for the live demo, so we can introduce you on that as well. For those NPO and the CPO switch, we adopt a new liquid cooling technology called the cold plate, so which is very useful for the 1IU box, which was adopted in the NPO and the CPO 1IU switch. And we also had immersion cooling technology. We already successfully deployed with our customer on the immersion cooling switch. I'm going to touch base on that as well. So first, let's talk about the Ragile's NPO, Leo package, and the code package project roadmap. So as you can see from the map, we have invested both in the NPO side and also the CPO side. So NPO side, we have two generation products. One is the 25T. So we made this for COBOL. If you know COBOL, the standardization, standard organization for co-packaging stuff. So for this prototype, it's functional. So we have like a 25T switch ASIC sitting around with 16 pieces of 1.6T optical engines. So that's the first generation. And also we have the second generation, which is the 51T NPO. So that prototype was made for ORF, CPO working group. So we work with Intel, Broadcom, and other folks for this mechanical demo. So we have that in our booth as well. And just recently, we released one CPO. Actually, it's the first in the world CPO switch. So it's we work with the Broadcom as well as our end customer Tencent on this product release. So it's a live demo, as I said. So you can see it in our booth with Broadcom engineers can explain more details on the technology side. And we do have a plan to release more products in the future. For example, the 51T CPO, as well as the functional 51T NPO as well. So I think for the NPO and the CPO, it's the industry trend to resolve some of the challenges we are going to have. For example, the port density, PUE, like utilization of the power supply, those kind of stuff. So if you have interest, just stop by our booth. More details on the prototypes. For the 25T NPO, it's made for COBOL organization, and it's a 1RU form factor, switch, so it can be easily fit into any standard racks. We have the 25T switch ASIC, which using the 112G SerDes technology. From the optical engine side, it's a 16 piece sitting around the switch ASIC. Each of them is supported 1.6T DR4 as well. On the front panel, you can see we have support 64 400G optical connectors, and in order to supply the laser, source, so we have a QSFP form factor ESP module with pigtail connection. In this prototype, we also adopt the cold plate cooling with non-conductive coolants running through the cold plate. As an optional BMC support, so we have the Intel CPU-based BMC. From the fan design and the PSU design, we have the redundancy, 3+1 fan redundancy and 1+1 PSU redundancy. For the 51T NPO prototype for ORF organization, it's just a mechanical demo. So we had this demo exhibit on the OFC 2022, which is a couple months ago. And actually, it attracts a lot of attentions from the audience, from the visitors. Also, we plan to have some functional prototypes working with ORF working groups members, hopefully next year. This product is also in 1RU form factor. And I have to emphasize here, this is the first time we use the modularized design for the NPO assembly. So in the middle, you can see this is a modularized NPO module with the switch ASIC 51T and 16 piece, also 16 piece 3.2T optical engines around. So they can support both DR4 and FR4 type of CPO optical engines. On the front panel, it supports 64 800G optical connections. So it's most advanced connections over here. Also, we need ESP modules to supply the laser source. So we have 16 piece in the front. So it uses the blend-made connectors as well. Also, in this prototype, we adopt cold plate liquid cooling, similar as the last generation. Similar, we have the x86 CPU from Intel to support the optional BMC. Similar redundancy for the fan design and the PSU design. So this is the one for the CPO, the co-packaging, real co-packaging, optics switch. So this one was made for Tencent. So we collaborate with Broadcom for this. It's a 2RU box, and it's a very high efficiency air cooling. We don't use cold plate for this one. So for this one, actually, it supports half of the optical connection, and another half is still a traditional electrical connection. So from the panel, you can see we support both the fiber direct connection and also the traditional transceiver pluggables as well. From the CPU engine to the front panel, for the fiber routing, we can support the traditional fiber, as well as a new technology we call the flexible print fiber management. So we can have both solutions. For this prototype, we also need external laser source. So we have a remote laser module supported. It's a QSFP DD form factor as well. And the one thing I have to mention here, so for the power consumption point of view, if we compare to the traditional, pluggable transceivers, for this optical connections, we can save more than 50% power consumption for the optical engine. Optical engine to the transceiver. And for this box, it's already production ready. So if you have any prototype requests or you want to test it, we can definitely make a prototype for you guys. Okay. So besides the cold plate liquid cooling, we also support immersive liquid cooling. So we already successfully designed and manufactured two types of products for immersion cooling. One is about the 1G OOB switch, out of band management switch, and also another one is the 100G switch. So in order to do the manufacturing test, design test, we also designed a test tank for the immersion liquid environment. So for those two products, we already shipped over 500 units to a customer data center for a successful deployment. Yeah, but for those kind of immersion cooling technology, we have to resolve a lot of challenges. So I won't go into details for the technical challenges, but if you have questions, you can stop by our booth so we can explain more on the technology challenges. So for the immersion cooling type of switch, for the production process, it requires both. I mean, air cooling as well as the liquid cooling. So in order to put the switch to the liquid environment, so on the very left side, the picture we show a robot arm, kind of a robot arm. We can pull in and send back the switches to the liquid environment. In the middle, those two pictures is a real environment, the test environment for those switches immersed in a liquid environment. Very right side is the real deployment environment from the customer side. So you can see all those tanks, pipelines, so connections as well. So those are real deployment environment. So besides those high advanced technology like immersion cooling, CPO, NPO, Ragile Networks actually provides white box switches. That's our main products for the open network. So as you can see from the portfolio, so we have 25G, the low end, and all the way up to 400G. We're using all Broadcom chipsets. So if you have any needs on the white box, we can support you for those products. And by the way, it's also SONiC supported. So if you are using SONiC, our software team can help you with the integration for the switches. So how can we make those kind of successful projects and products? So the main reason is our differentiated core value, which is where our names come from. So Ragile comes from rapid and agile. So it means we are very timely response to customer requests, and we make a very effective decisions and actions. So to help customer success. So for Ragile Networks, we provide the open network switches, other equipments as well, and we can do customization for different products and solutions based on your requirement. And as you can see, probably in the last few years, there's a supply chain issue. Everybody has a shortage. However, for Ragile Networks, we have a very reliable supply chain. So we work with our global supply chain vendors. For example, we are a strategic vendor for a strategic partner with Broadcom, Intel, and other folks. So we are very reliable on the supply chain side. So we never had a shortage issue for our customer. So you heard about Ragile Networks. It's a US brand, so we set up for our US clients in this region. And we also have our sister company, which is Ragile in China region. So it's responsible for other customers. So both companies those two companies work together, share a lot of resources, so to have a better service for our customer. So for Ragile Networks, we can do both OEM and ODM. So based on your requirements, we can do both. So the last page, I'm going to touch a little bit on our company profile. So make sure we can do successful high quality ODM and JDM projects. So as you can see from the picture, so overall we have more than 7,000 employees, including our inside manufacturing plant. And we already had more than 20 type of data center switches, different speed, different port configuration. And actually, we are the #1 JDM in the China market. working with tier 1 customers like Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, Baidu. So we supply all those JDM switches to them. Our sales revenue last year, it's about $2 billion US dollars in last year. In the last 30 years history, the annual growth rate is above 30%. So it's a very huge growth every year each. Some of the shipment data for different Broadcom chip supported switches. Most recently for the Tomahawk 4, it's over 20,000 shipment already. So and the customer is also fastly ramping up those kind of products. I think that's all I have for today. So warm welcome you to stop by our booth so we can introduce more products and our service to you. Thank you, guys.